It's Thursday evening, and it's Weather for Weather Geeks time on the day that we had our first measurable snowfall of the season. And in fact, we had our first snowflakes just in general of the season today. Now we've got rain to talk about, we've got wind to talk about, and some interesting changes in the medium and longer range in this video. We'll talk about the end of November and especially the month of December. But today's numbers, ugly. Temperatures hardly moved today. In fact, our warmest temperature at the airport was at 2:42 a.m. We spent all afternoon pretty much around 33, 34, 35 degrees. And officially at the Youngstown Warren Airport, always kind of generous with the numbers at the airport, but the official observation, a half an inch worth of snow. Now, even though we had some periods where it got a little bit slushy in some spots, especially with a little miniature burst that came through around the Hubbard area over towards Sharon and Hermitage mid-afternoon, made for kind of a slushy go. But most of us did not see anything sticking more than just trace amounts on the grass today. But again, at the airport, it'll go into the record books as a half an inch, at least through the issuance of the daily climate report at about 5:30 this evening. So far, of course, snowfall totals locally and throughout the region have been modest, with some exceptions up near the lake. We have a lake effect ongoing around and east of the Cleveland area this evening. Now, our radar in our television viewing area is pretty quiet. A couple of flurries this evening. Snow showers becoming probably a little more common late this evening into the overnight hours as well. But the lake effect will be concentrated from east of downtown Cleveland over into eastern Cuyahoga County, parts of Geauga, and western Lake counties as well. And the Weather Service did hoist a winter weather advisory for many of those locations. Anyone going to or from Cleveland tonight along the Ohio Turnpike, along Route 422, it'll be a little bit dicey at times. The Browns have a home game this evening against the Steelers, and any Valley residents who made the trip up there probably encountered some snow as you got closer to Cleveland, and there will be more snow to encounter on the trip back to the Mahoning and Shenango Valleys after Thursday night football this evening. I think there's going to be some places in far eastern Cuyahoga County, probably western and central Geauga County, maybe the southwestern corner of Lake County, that get 3, 4, 5, 6 inches worth of snow. But again, that's kind of the exception. The vast majority of northeast Ohio won't have anything to that magnitude. We're talking about some candy coatings, some small slushy accumulations, a possibility across our area. You know, can there be a slick spot or two overnight, especially on the colder surfaces like bridges and overpasses? Yeah, can't rule that out. But temperatures will actually bottom out late this evening. They'll start to rise again as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Before we get to tomorrow and the weekend, let's quickly touch base on where we stand as far as the storm surveys that were conducted by the Pittsburgh National Weather Service yesterday. And in fact, they did find tornado damage east of downtown Pittsburgh with that line of storms that moved through our area and moved through the Pittsburgh area yesterday afternoon, early yesterday evening. EF0 tornado, again, just east of downtown Pittsburgh, and this occurred pretty much right at 5 o'clock yesterday evening. You know, tornadic activity in November, not unheard of. There's a lot of times a secondary severe weather season. Now, late in November, that gets to be pretty rare. After you get past about the middle of the month, it becomes pretty rare for us in our general region to have any sort of legitimate severe weather. All right, we talked about this yesterday. An unusual situation here with warm advection occurring on Friday from the north. Usually warm advection, or the pushing of warm air into an area, occurs, of course, on a west to southwest or southerly wind, sometimes even a southeasterly wind. Not usually out of the north, but that's going to be the case with this configuration of things tomorrow. We'll get into the 40s with a wind-driven rain all day. What just a 0-star day coming up for our Friday. Temperatures will not feel like the 40s, that is for sure. It'll feel like the 30s with the wind and the rain. Yuck. What you see is what you get for Friday evening, for playoff football games, into the overnight hours as well. In fact, steady rain will probably still be out there at daybreak on Saturday, but the rain will finally become a little more scattered in nature, and the wind will begin to relax somewhat as we get into the afternoon on Saturday, leaving us with just a mostly cloudy sky for the vast majority of the day on Sunday. Sunday is the pick day of this weekend, even though it's not exactly a nice day. We'll take it. After a rainy start to Saturday, we'll get up to 45 Saturday afternoon, 47 seasonable degrees on Sunday. Take advantage of Sunday if you do need to do anything outdoors, because raindrops could very well return early on next week. And I do think we will have some opportunities for some wintry mischief for Thanksgiving weekend, and perhaps even a pretty good lake effect snow event towards the end of Thanksgiving weekend. That's something that we'll be focusing more and more on as we get closer to early next week. In the meantime, today the Climate Prediction Center, part of NOAA or the National Weather Service, put out their initial December outlook. And you'll notice the neutral zone that we are in eastern Ohio and western PA, and actually kind of the northern half of the country, all in the neutral zone. They did not put any cooler than average temperatures favored for the month as a whole, although it could be argued that they should have, given how cold the first week to 10 days or so of December is looking. In fact, also from the Climate Prediction Center today, this is the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, which basically takes the last couple of days of November and rolls them forward into the first 5 days of December. This is a cold looking start to December, and we haven't had cold starts to December very often over the last 10 years. Now, is this a harbinger of the winter? I kind of doubt it, but I do think that things are lining up for a cold start. This is a pretty rapid change in the expectations for early December. The Pacific configuration of things at the jet stream level really took a turn over the last week or so, meaning our expectations for early December have taken a turn. And, you know, if you've been following long-range forecasts, we've been talking about this is a weak La Nina coming on for this upcoming winter season. We may not technically get a La Nina established. It may just be a cool, neutral winter season. In other words, La Nina is struggling to come on. I do think that a weak La Nina can still be achieved this winter, especially briefly, but this is by no means a strong La Nina that's going to drive the pattern this winter. Their December precipitation outlook also fairly neutral across our area. I think, again, it's going to be a pretty cold and active start to December. I think we're going to get off to a fast start in meteorological winter. If you remember my winter forecast, we're calling for a mild winter overall, but that doesn't mean it can't get cold. And one of the things we talked about in the winter forecast was December being the month that has a chance of seeing some stout cold snaps, and it looks like we're going to have one right off the bat in early December. That'll do it for me this evening. Go Browns tonight. Sorry, Steelers fans. I'll see you back here on Friday for a fresh edition of Weather for Weather Geeks.